Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Welcome to the 5th season of the Meet the Mancunian podcast, Social Impact Stories from Manchester. I'm Deepa Thomas Sutcliffe, your friendly host. It's a privilege and a pleasure for me to interview some of the most inspiring people working in Manchester's social impact sector and feature them on this podcast. My guests are leaders and worker bees associated as employees, trustees, and volunteers with social enterprises, non-profits, and community groups. They share their life stories and passions with you, dear listener. My aim through this podcast is to inspire you and share a bit of good news. My guests tackle serious concerns in Manchester, but many of these are also universal themes resonating in many parts of the globe. All my guests talk about the power of collaboration and how together we are stronger. They, of course, expand on their pride in Manchester and Mancunians as well. I hope you enjoy listening to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or Google, or any of your favorite podcasting platforms. You can also listen to the podcast episodes and read the transcripts on my website, www.meetthemancunian.co.uk. If you are a new listener, you can log on to www.meetthemancunian.co.uk to listen to the first 4 seasons of the podcast and read more about my podcasting story. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. Thank you for your support. Welcome to the 5th episode of the Meet the Mancunian podcast season 5. Looking to support breast cancer survivors, we hear from Heather Glover, co-founder Scarlett, in this episode. I'm delighted to introduce my guest, Heather Glover, co-founder of Scarlett. Thank you so much, Heather, for taking the time today on a very snowy day, not an icy day yet, but snowy indeed.
Yeah, snowy and cold, and it's the best place to be, actually, Deepa. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. Tell us about how you found your passion for helping breast cancer survivors. Where did that start?
I think it stems from my nursing career. I've wanted to be a nurse all my life, and when I left school, I went straight into nursing, and that's what I've done ever since. So over 30 years now I've been in nursing, and I think wanting to help people find a solution. Children's nursing is what I did as well, predominantly. And I think you work with families, you find solutions, you find ways around things, and there's a lot of health promotion and health education. It's not just about fixing people with a sticking plaster. So when I got breast cancer myself in 2017, and originally that meant I had to have the lump removed, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and get back to work. It's not all quite as simple as that, but that was my journey initially. And that's what I did. But then it came back 9 months after I'd finished treatment. I was diagnosed again, and that time I needed to have a mastectomy with quite a lot of tissue removed because of my prior radiation. I couldn't have reconstruction because of that previous treatment, so I just needed to be sewn flat in case the skin didn't quite come together. That was the beginning, really, because following the end of that treatment, I needed to have a preventative mastectomy on the healthy side because I was at 18 to 20% increased risk of developing another breast cancer, which I obviously wanted to avoid like the plague. So in order to reduce that risk. I can't eliminate it completely, but in order to reduce it, I need a preventative mastectomy. And also for the year that I lived, people call themselves uniboobers, with one boob and a flat chest, was probably my most unhappy year, because when I was dressed, I had my false boob in and I could ignore how I felt. When I got undressed, I was permanently reminded that I'd got something missing and something there, and psychologically, emotionally, confidence-wise, it was like my worst year. So when I actually had my preventative surgery, and I just asked him to make it look the same as the other side. Symmetry's always been important to me. I didn't want scars at different angles or anything. That really would have done my head in. So he did a really good job. I was, really pleased. I could go down the reconstruction route in the future. But once I'd healed, and this is the beginning of 2020, I actually didn't like putting my prosthetic breasts on, because I felt I looked like Mrs. Doubtfire. I didn't even feel like they made me look like a normal woman, in inverted commas. But I felt every day I'm putting this thing on with fake boobs so that I look like a woman in my clothes, or what society thinks a woman's supposed to look like. Then I get undressed at night and I've got a nippleless chest, and I don't know, it hampered the recovery. So I decided to just embrace my flat shape and remain flat and start learning to love myself again and grow confidence, which did take time and didn't happen overnight. But when I discovered that actually it's great not wearing a bra, because I used to love getting my bra off, especially after a long day. I could not wait to get it off, digging into my shoulders, digging into my ribs. But when you have that taken away from you because you lose your breasts, which, you grieve for, they've got you through you feeding your children and you growing up and your nice clothes going out, you've lost that. Now you've lost the choice to put nice, pretty lingerie on as well, because it didn't really exist because you don't need it. And so I spoke to my friend who liked to sew and asked her if she would be able to make me a scarlet, which wasn't called scarlet then. I said a flat bra, and she did make me a flat bra, and it was incredible. And I could not believe how I looked and how I felt when I put that on. I was just like, 10 feet tall, wanted to run outside and just show everyone. I felt so incredibly gorgeous and empowered and brilliant. And that's when we thought we need, I spoke to other women. I was working with Prevent Breast Cancer on the Booby campaign. There was other women that had similar surgery to me. And we were all disappointed and frustrated with the lack of lingerie. Facebook groups and other groups that have got lots of flat women saying, yeah, it's either really expensive or it's really ugly or it doesn't exist. So we just thought, shall we launch our own then? And we did that, and we called it Scarlet because it's shaped like a bralette, but it's a bralette for scars, not for breasts. And that's where it came from.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and and also the very brave decision that you made to go for that preventative mastectomy as well. It's very difficult decisions, but prioritizing your health totally made sense, and I also understand from a sense of symmetry, as you shared, that's important to you. So Scarlett comes from that lived experience, and it's a really great story about how it started. So what does Scarlett offer now, and who's it for?
So it is predominantly for flat-chested women who've lost their breasts to breast cancer, because it is a completely flat piece of soft, gently stretchy, lacy fabric, and therefore it's not made to support breasts. However, we do have women, they may have had breast cancer and mastectomies with reconstruction, but they've only got small A or B cup breasts, so they do buy Scarlett. We've also had transgender and gender fluid customers that have purchased Scarlett as well. And now we have a camisole, which stretches to accommodate breasts because of the way that it's designed and where the lace is that doesn't stretch. So we actually have had quite a few women that have got a normal chest that have bought the camisole. But we do have candles as well. We have beautiful candles and burners that are all essential oils and made locally. And that's because people were wanting to buy into the Scarlet, but they didn't want the lingerie because they didn't need the lingerie or have anyone to buy it for. So we launched the gifting range, if you like, with the candles so that people can still buy into the Scarlet and be part of the journey. But we have parents and partners and friends buying lingerie for their loved ones. And they're always people that have got a story. You know, it's not just like a person that's never had a problem with lingerie. It's people that have had a real problem with who they are and they've transitioned or they've lost a breast and they've no confidence. And so the mums or dads or partners that are buying these pieces of lingerie for them are giving a gift that they contact us and they say, oh my God, I can't believe how my daughter feels or my mum feels. And she looks absolutely beautiful and she looks sexy as hell. All of this, they just have their confidence and femininity restored so much, and that healing journey is catapulted just by putting on something that you would think should have existed anyway.
Thank you for sharing that. And it brings us very well to what impact have you made? And you also talked about some of the work you were doing around fundraising and body positivity when we were chatting earlier.
So as well as the lingerie, we're not a brand that is just about selling lingerie. We want Scarlet to be like a double. We've got the lingerie, but we're also about the community. So we've got our social media and our website with newsletters and blogs that offer women and men support because breast cancer does affect more than just the person with it. And we've got my journey on there. We've got other people's survivor stories on there. We've got blogs about how to dress a flat chest, how to style your shape from people that are stylists or body shape analyzers. And so it's all helpful stuff to support. We're very interactive with our customers on our Facebook Messenger group. And I mean, we get back to people certainly within 12 hours, 24 hours that message us. They just want to know about sometimes the shipping or the sizing and something that's practical. But sometimes they're about to go for surgery and they're having a wobble and they just want to ask something, or they've bought the lingerie and then they put it on and then they're just absolutely just have to get in touch with us to tell us how they felt. They send photographs. And through that happening, we've ended up growing our ambassadors, which I prefer to call them for our purpose as opposed to influencers. They're women that have been through breast cancer. They've lost their breasts. They are all standing up to it in one way or another and raising awareness and putting themselves out there so that other women can find them and can see it's not as scary and you aren't some kind of freak and you will have beauty and confidence again afterwards. So, people that have bought the Scarlet and then they're loving it and they send us these messages, we think they are just the people that need to be ambassadors for our company and purpose. And, we share body positivity messages on our social media, and Prevent Breast Cancer, who work closely with as an ambassador, we share their messages to raise awareness of breast cancer and breast health, because ultimately they're the only charity in the UK focusing solely on preventing through prediction and early detection and saving lives, which we could save so many thousands of lives if we just do it differently. And that needs education. So we all need to keep talking and sharing, really.
Thank you. And you're going to connect us with the charity later, so that'd be great as well. And then what challenges have you faced on this 2-year journey with Scarlet?
Well, it's obviously a lot of pleasure, a lot of fun and privilege, and we're really proud, but it's ongoing. The challenge, I think, with a business, having a nursing background, and Kate, my partner's got a background as a commercial pilot. So business is alien to both of us. So we have both been on, business support coaching courses, marketing, trying to learn how to do, what to do. But then we want our customers to be able to purchase the Scarlet more easily, more cheaply in their own countries, rather than all online with the shipping costs, because we can't do anything about that. We can't control that. But we need to learn how to get Scarlet into countries where we've been asked if it could, they can distribute it in Canada and Greece and Germany. And we'd love that, but we need to learn all of the legalities around that, the tax laws and Brexit and everything. So we can't do anything overnight because we have to learn it first. And it will be wonderful to see Scarlet, in other countries and people able to just buy it from their country rather than having to get it from the UK. So that is a challenge. Another challenge is our manufacturing, because we manufacture in the UK, which we're really, really proud of and want to continue to do, but that's expensive. We want to keep our product affordable for the women that need it, because it used to really bug me that once I'd lost my breast, I also had to choose from this undesirable range of lingerie that was actually not very nice and expensive. So we want to keep it affordable, but we also want to try and keep manufacturing in the UK, because the manufacturers have taken on more women. They've taken on women that had lost seamstressing jobs in lingerie because factories in lingerie shut down and we're all going abroad. And women are working from home around the family commitments. And so that's good. That feels good that, we've got women who are enjoying what they're doing. They've got skills and they're using them and they're able to earn a salary. But that too is a challenge. And the business side of it, do you spend all this money or do you not? I mean, it's like if it was monopoly money, of course, just spend it, do it, take that risk. But as a nurse and as a parent, we haven't got that. It's hard sometimes knowing what to do for the best. I know what I want to do. And sometimes I think I should just ignore my brain and follow my heart. But marketing is a challenge because we still have people that are just coming across us now. And I'm always a bit surprised thinking, why have you not heard about us before? But why would they have done as well? Because it's really expensive and it's really, really difficult, the marketing side. And when we've got lingerie brands that do sell, there's another brand that sells a stretchy version of a flat type top, which is more expensive and nothing like the Scarlet and not anywhere near as pretty. But they're a big, well-established brand who can afford to pay for all the things you need to pay for in order to be higher up Google and all of that. So that's a challenge. We just want to get the word out there so more people search for us and follow us, and therefore we have a bigger presence. But nothing happens overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, was it?
No, it's just been 2 years, but you're going great guns, and I'm sure there'll be even more opportunities as you progress.
Yeah.
I have an idea for you, which I shall give you at the end as well, because I just thought of something from my e-commerce background. I used
Okay.
to work for eBay for 10 years.
Right. Oh, well, I can't wait for that little bit at the end then.
So how can interested people reach out to you and learn more?
We have our Facebook and Instagram accounts, which are very active and interactive, and they're at The Scarlet. That's SKARLETTE. So, and we answer all messages that come into us from either of those platforms. We are on TikTok, but that is work in progress because it scares me to death. So, that's another route. But we have our website where we have a contact form, and we get quite a few customers that contact us that way and ask us, if they can wear the Scarlet with X, Y, and Z types of bodies. So, and we love to hear. Well, I mean, I'm a people person for sure, and I want to be able to talk to the customers. We've not got an actual shop where you meet people face to face, but we are in contact and very interactive with our customers. So we love getting messages from them on either platform.
Great. What advice would you have for people looking to start something similar in another part of the world or another part of the UK?
Well, similar as in not another flat bra range, but you mean similar, something for flat people?
Something for flat women or
Mhm.
something for breast cancer survivors or something for in the non-profit space.
Yeah,
You make
in
it
the
as
community.
specific or as general as you like.
Yeah. I'd say don't let yourself hold you back, because even though I've just been saying, but I'm talking big money holding me back or not. If you've got a gut, I always think your gut is a very, very fantastic instinct to follow. And if you've got a good instinct that you think something's missing that could actually add value to the lives of other people and you know how to do it, then I would say take the leap of faith and do it and run with it. Because what's the worst that could happen? You know, with Scarlett, I really hope it soars, flies, and is as successful as I visualize being all over the world with all the different ranges and our own factory and everything. But if it didn't, I've tried, you know, and we have made difference to lots of people already. So I would definitely just say, don't let yourself hold you back and follow your gut.
Thank you. An opportunity now for you to talk about anything I haven't asked you about. I think you mentioned you've got a new exciting range coming up.
Yeah, we have the swimwear. So from the very start, when we launched Scarlett, I wanted swimwear because it's something that you can't conceal under clothes. Actually, if you're going to put your swimwear on, then you're out there, aren't you? And that's a really tricky. I've continued to find that really tricky because either you're in I like bikini tops if I'm on holiday, and you're in a top that crucifies your chest because it's too tight in order not to gape, or in order to fit your chest, you've got these pockets that, even if they're made for the smallest of breasts, they plop, like the air fills them and then they go flat, and it's just not a good look and it's not a good feel. So we've got our own range of swimwear coming out, which has got a really, really good name, and we love that name. So I've been waiting to launch that for ages, and I've got to not slip up and accidentally say it. We've been quite creative with our colour combinations and designs to offer quite a lot of interchangeability and flexibility, and we've tried to accommodate the needs of. We obviously can't accommodate the needs of everybody because there is only so much money with regards to manufacturing, but we've tried to accommodate the younger, smaller woman that likes to have more skin on show, and then the sometimes slightly larger or older who likes to be a bit more modestly dressed in their swimwear. So we try to accommodate both of those. And we're hoping to have that launched. I mean, I did see an email before and I've not read it. I'm like crossing my fingers and hoping everything's going to plan for March, April at the latest. But when we originally set out with a spring launch for swimwear, to be fair, it was when we just launched Scarlett, and we were targeting the UK audience. And our spring, obviously, is, well, I know our weather's a bit changeable, but we're heading for like the May, June time. But we do have customers in Australia and New Zealand and Spain and, you know, America and Canada and Mexico. So it doesn't really matter what time of year it comes out, because 50% of our customers probably live somewhere nice and warm at some point of the year.
At some point of the year, even the UK gets very nice and warm in the summer.
Yeah, and actually our latest ambassador to come on board, which we're in the middle of sorting everything out, but is another customer, because we have ambassadors that love the brand, love the lingerie, and want to endorse it and promote it because they believe in it and it does such good for people. And the latest lady that's going to come on board is actually an open water swimmer in the UK. So
Wow.
even today, she'd be out for a swim in the outdoors. So hats off to her. But that'll be great because we've got, you know, doesn't matter on the season or the temperature. We'll still have Scarlett swimming around in the outdoors.
That is a nice thought. I'm now going to move to the signature questions I ask all my guests. And my first one for you is, can you describe the Mancunian spirit in a word or a phrase?
It is always hard for me to summarize. My husband says I speak in far too many words, and it's hard to summarize that one. But I do think Mancunians are generally hardworking, hard-loving people.
Thank you for sharing that. And I like that very much. And I think it does epitomize them very well.
Yeah.
Can you share a Mancunian who inspires you and why?
Well, it's not a famous Mancunian that everybody will know. It's actually my mum, who is a Mancunian born and bred. And, you know, she got married to my dad and they had 6 children. 5 of them were boys. I take my hat off to her for that one, because I don't know how they lived in a semi-detached house with 3 bedrooms, 5 boys and a girl. And I believe I was the saint of all of those children. But she, aside from that, she also fostered children, and she worked nurse on a children's unit. So she would work on night shifts opposite my dad. Sometimes she'd get no sleep or a bit of sleep, and then she'd have all these children that she'd be looking after. They never depended on any benefits. They took us on holiday every year in the UK. And then, she continued to volunteer all of her life until she got dementia, and raising money either through making cards or singing in choirs, and was just an absolute treasure, really. And somebody that I continue to think, I hope every day that I'm making her proud still.
I'm sure you are making her proud, and thank you so much for sharing that. Can you share what's the most important life lesson you've learned so far?
To grab life by the horns, definitely. I think don't put anything off that you could possibly, realistically do today. I'm not saying go and spend all your life savings, but if there's anything that you would really want to do with somebody that you really want to do it with, then go and get it done, because none of us are gifted tomorrow. And I've learnt that more because of the last 5 years and the friendships and the communities that I now mix in more. Then obviously the risk of people passing away because of cancer is increased because I have more friends with cancer. But prior to Christmas, there was 2 more long distant friends that I had who were both like late 40s, early 50s, who went to bed and were dead. And, they've got children, my children's ages. They weren't expected to die. And that's really awful. And I just think we need to not take any life for granted, because it isn't just me who's had cancer. I say to my family, we can't think you've got tomorrow. And if there's something you want to do, you need to go and do it. See the people you want to be with.
Yeah, I think that's such an important life lesson, because we really need to seize every moment and cherish our loved ones and spend time with them.
Yeah, we do.
We do. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I dream of having like a magic wand that I could just like think about, sprinkle on the entire world, and just get rid of all the horrible nastiness that goes on, the fear and the evil people, and that it will be a peaceful, loving, calm, happy, realistic place. I'm not saying everyone should all be like hippies with the pink rose-tinted spectacles, but just that we can trust each other and we can love each other and live and let live and stop dictating to each other.
I hope that wish comes true. It will be very nice to have that kind of world, and where we are.
Yeah.
There are lots of good people out there, of course, but there are some not so good as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Heather, thank you so much for talking to me and my listeners. I really enjoyed learning about all the great work you and Scarlett are doing today.
Thank you. Thank you. And long may it continue.
Absolutely. Heather, thank you for talking to me and my listeners. I really enjoyed learning about helping breast cancer survivors today. Dear listener, thank you for listening to the 5th episode of Season 5 of the Meet the Mancunian podcast, Social Impact Stories from Manchester. I hope you enjoyed it and it motivates you to follow your own dreams and passions. Please do consider visiting the website www.meetthemancunian.co.uk to leave me some feedback or suggestions on what causes resonated with you, or ones that you would like to see featured here. I really welcome listener feedback and will do my best to incorporate your suggestions in future episodes. Next week, the Meet the Mancunian podcast talks to Kaisra Sheraz about encouraging interfaith understanding. Tune in on Tuesday, 23rd May 2023 to hear the next episode. You can follow the podcast on social media as @MeetTheMancunian on Instagram or Facebook, or as @MancunianPod on Twitter. It would be lovely if you could share or leave a comment. Please do also consider introducing this podcast to a friend or a family member. You can also sign up for my new newsletter on www.meetthemancunian.co.uk. No spam, weekly episode roundups, bonus content, and a preview of what's coming up next on the podcast. Thank you so much.